Hi. A common question that people ask is how to quit smoking in 3 days. Now, I'd like to address this a little bit. I- When I quit smoking 15 years ago, essentially what happens is, at least in my opinion, is once you've smoked your last cigarette, you quit smoking. There isn't really a time, there isn't really a date. I mean, it happens when you put the last cigarette out and you never smoke again. That's when you become a non-smoker. It's not a couple days later or a week or a month or 3 days before, and it doesn't happen over 3 days. It's a process. To be successful, you really, what you're doing is you're thinking about where you are now and what you do now. In this case, it's smoking, and then you're thinking that in perspective to the rest of your life. And you've got health concerns, you've got monetary concerns, you've got the stress concerns where to smoke. There's so many things that you battle as a smoker. So first, I suggest that you get these straight in your mind. You start to put these all in perspective. You start to see them for what they are. You realize the reasons why you want to quit smoking. So that's kind of the mentality you begin the process with. And I can't tell you how far in advance that you might wake up one morning and feel all that in your heart and be ready to quit, or you might start a month before. But the first steps is really to put it in perspective and to convince yourself, and you don't have to convince the ones around you, I'm sure of that, but to convince yourself it is indeed time to quit smoking. And then you typically would want to set a date. You'd want to have a process in place, and the best way to do that is learn from somebody that has already done it. And that's just not my thoughts. I mean, if you think about it, you see that all over the internet these days. You see that advice in books. You see that everywhere. The best way to accomplish most things is to learn from somebody that has the experience, somebody that's been there, somebody that knows the ins and outs, somebody that knows the rights and wrongs, and somebody knows what does not work and what does work. So I suggest you start with a really good plan based on what somebody else that was successful has done. And then you actually go ahead and you quit smoking. And when you put that last cigarette out and you put the ashtray down and you lay down your pack of cigarettes and your lighter for the last time, at that moment you quit smoking. So you could even say to yourself, it doesn't take 3 days. It simply takes putting out the last cigarette and not lighting another one. For most people, most smokers, it probably is apparent to you in 20 minutes or so. Or you might want to have that last cigarette before you go to bed at night, and the next morning when you wake up, you never have that first cigarette. So those are all personal choices and the way you may want to go about it. So, but the point is this, is that it's sort of like, can you get rich overnight? I guess it's possible. Is it likely? Probably not. Generally, it takes a little more work and it takes more time. And I think to say that you want to quit smoking in 3 days or learn how to quit smoking in 3 days is a little bit like getting rich overnight. It's a process. You need to have a plan in place. Although you might just turn around and wake up today and put your cigarettes out and never smoke again, that certainly can happen. You probably will have a higher degree of success if you simply follow a mentor, you find somebody that you trust that has been there and can help you through it. In the case of myself, I quit smoking successfully about 15 years ago and never looked back. I have created a program which you can learn more about by clicking one of the links around this video. It will cost you less than the price of a carton of cigarettes, and I do believe it'll work. I literally bet my life on it. So if this sounds like something of interest to you, I urge you to click one of the links and learn more, and I will look forward to seeing you as a non-smoker.